Today, we're going to apex a Glock. Or two. Hey guys, Gary here. Thanks for checking in. So, I've used some Apex parts in my MMPs for a number of years. That started with some students asking me if they were reliable, and I said, I don't know. So I got some to try out, and they have not shown to be any less reliable than factory parts. I can't say that I've worn out any factory parts comparable to the ones that Apex makes, but they work as advertised, and they do not reduce the reliability of the gun. And as all of my students know, that's the prime thing I talk about, is you can't change anything if it makes the gun less reliable. Now, people have asked me, well, what about in Glocks? I said, well, their reputation is of high quality stuff. I would assume that their Glock products are just as reliable. However, I didn't have any. And so I am going to install this Apex Special Edition Series. It's like an action enhancement kit for my Gen 3 19. This has had 2 modifications done to it prior. It has a set of XS Big Dot DXT2s in the optic yellow. In fact, these were like super prototype. The president of the company is the one that hand applied the optic yellow paint to this. It was one of the first like half dozen sets made when it was still in the prototype phase. And the frame is stippled and carved up a little bit because I wanted to make it the way I like it feeling, like I do to a lot of guns. Not required, but no detriment either. So I am going to measure the trigger pull of this factory trigger. Then I am going to install the limited edition Glock and Action Enhancement Kit. The limited edition part is the triggers like this flat darker gray kind of color. So in the kit is the trigger and trigger bar. And it is not the flat face that's got like the semi-rounded face. I don't know what profile they call that, but it's not their flat face trigger. And also included in it is a lasered, says Apex connector. I don't know what weight connector that is, or what like the closest Glock weight connector is. I don't even know if it says on the product description. And there is the they call it the striker block, the little plunger guy. And so I'm going to install those. Then I'm going to get like a trigger pull difference, see what it is. I assume it will decrease. I will say that this Glock Gen 3 trigger is my least favorite trigger on any striker fire gun that I've ever shot. I've never liked Glock triggers. The reset's great. I just don't like the way the trigger press is. And I don't even know what the weight is because I've never measured. I actually had to borrow a trigger pull gauge because I don't ever look at that kind of thing. So we're going to get that done up, and then I'm going to go shoot it a bunch and loan it out to students and stuff, and we'll get a longer term sense of reliability, although I suspect that it's going to go really long and never have any issues, because that's how the MMP products that I've used from Apex work. Then we are also going to we're going to take this Glock 43X. I had to borrow it because I don't have a 43X. And we are going to install the Action Enhancement Kit for slim frames. So it fits the 43X and the 48, and then that other slim frame 9mm that I don't even consider to be a carry pistol, the 43 pocket pistol. It does not fit the 42 though, but it does fit the 43 pocket pistol. The difference being in this kit, there is less stuff. And I think this holds true across the Gen 5 range from Apex as well. That there is the trigger on the trigger bar, and there is a connector, Apex SF, slim frame. But there is no plunger. There doesn't look like on the website there are plungers in any of the Gen 5 stuff, so that seems to fit. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a trigger pull gauge on this and see what it is, and then see what it is afterwards. I don't have precise enough measuring tools here to check pre-travel and total distance and all that. They're striker fire guns. They're not very far to begin with, so that we're just going to have to go with a gut feeling on feel. And then this gun probably will not get shot as much as this gun. I will go shoot it, and I will give it back to its owner with the Apex kit in it. And then it's not his primary gun, so it probably won't see 20,000 rounds through it or any big numbers like that. But whatever, if he runs into any issues, he's going to let me know, after the initial run of using this, and then I'll get a better feel for that. But again, the reputation is that they'll be reliable, and we will be testing the Gen 3 version with some higher round counts, so I would suspect the slim frame version would do pretty much the same thing. But we're going to get some measuring, and then I'm going to get to installing. Alright, so I'm back from the range. I did a little bit of video and stuff. I also videoed the assembly of all the parts. So I went and over to Apex's website, which linked me some YouTube videos on the installation, which was super straightforward, just like disassembling and reassembling your Glock. But I know there are companies out there that make Glock accessories. They're like, I'll put it in and use a 60 grit granite stone to polish the whatever, and none of the Apex stuff is like that, which is great, because otherwise I'd have called bullshit and stopped right there. So I installed it super easy. I used like a handful of tools, Apex Armorer's block, a couple of punches. I probably could have got away with one, but I had two out, and a smidgen of lubricant. That's all it took. So even with stitches in my finger, it was easy to install all the parts. Now, before I installed them, I borrowed a trigger pull gauge. I don't own one of those. I have never owned one of those. Somebody who shoots guns does not need one of those. Somebody that maintains their guns doesn't need one of those. So I didn't have one of those. But I borrowed one because I wanted to see what the difference was. So I checked them all beforehand, and then I checked them afterwards. Then I went to the range and did some shooting. Surprisingly, I was shocked at how heavy the two stock Glock triggers were, especially the one in this 19, because it has thousands of rounds fired through it. So, it's worn in, smoothed out somewhat. You'd figure, 8, 9, 10,000 rounds would make it smoother, lighter, I guess. But I don't know. I never checked it when it started. But I did write down where we started from and where we went to. So with the 19, we were getting 6 pounds 13 ounces, 6 pounds 15 ounces, couple of 6 pounds 15 ounces. None hit all the way to 7, although it was close. When we were done, we were getting 4 pounds 3 ounces, 4 pounds 4 ounces, 4 pounds 4 ounces, and then one at 4 pounds 11 ounce, which all those might be me unable to use a trigger pull gauge. I don't know. But I did it the same manner, so there is a noticeable difference in the trigger pull weight. I have no tools here to measure the trigger pull distance, so don't know how that changed it. Then on this 43X, we were at 6'1", 6'7", 6'6", 6'7" to start, and we finished it 4'8", 4'8", 4'9", 4'9". So we lost not as big a difference. It also didn't start out as bad. And I'm going to attribute that to like the Gen 5 style way things work versus the Gen 3 style. But I really didn't think that they were that high to start. But learn something new every day. So I went out, did some shooting, put about 300 rounds out at the range between both of the guns. They worked fine, like I suspected they would work fine. And this gun, the 43X, is going to go back to its owner. I'm going to ask him to keep me apprised of if there are any problems or whatnot, or if he likes it, doesn't like it, you know, whatever his thoughts on it are. Although he won the gun at a company function, so I can't promise he's even going to use it much. It's not like he went out and bought this because he wanted it. The 19, I don't carry or shoot it nearly as much as my M&Ps, but I do lend it out quite a bit, so I'll be able to log a little more accurately how many rounds are put through it, and if it has any issues or anything like that. And I'll let other folks try it and just get their opinion on it, so when I'm done, I can at least say, hey, I had like 30 different people shoot it, they all liked it, or one guy hated it, or whatever. But super easy to install, even with the bum finger. A pleasant experience to shoot. The trigger feels good on the finger, unlike the little cheese grater stock trigger with the little things, the abrasion things in there. It's not what I like in a trigger. I like my trigger smooth, but I know there are some models of Glocks with that, and importation rules, blah, blah, blah. Don't know, don't care. But the trigger feels nice on the finger. The trigger pull feels nice. I can shoot the gun fine before. I can shoot the gun fine now. Now it's just a long-term test to see how reliable it is. And if there are any reliability issues that creep up, you'll see a video linked right here somewhere on this screen for the video talking about the issues. If you don't see anything pop up like right now, because I'll go back and edit that if need be, then there's no issues as of whatever day you are watching this video. So, short version, Apex triggers, you probably want one in your gun because it makes it feel good. If you don't care what it feels like, then you're probably all right. And with that, y'all take it easy. Cheers. Let's see, I'll just open it up here. Maybe.